Next in my collection is Megamind on Blu-ray. We ended with this movie on the last video, and we're starting it with this one. Unlike the other 2018 Blu-ray reprints, this one came with the original Blu-ray disc, instead of making Universal Studios styled disc artwork. My copy came with the original disc, not sure if other ones came with it. Actually, I think it was just my copy that had that disc. Puss in Boots, the 2011 movie. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this one. It was fine for what it is, but there were some good parts, the animation's great, but I'm honestly glad that I own it. I mean, it's a movie about Puss in Boots, one of the best characters in the Shrek franchise. This came out the same year as Kung Fu Panda 2, which was way better in my opinion. It could have been better, but it was okay. Okay, now here is Rise of the Guardians, a movie that I really love. This movie is very underrated, it has solid animation. This movie is a perfect watch for literally any holiday. This is just one of those movies that I wish got a sequel. The Guardians is easily one of my top 10 favorite Dreamworks movies. I would highly recommend checking it out. And honestly, the first time I watched Guardians was like 2 years ago. I also have Turbo, which is yet again one of Dreamworks' more underrated movies. This is from my childhood and I really love it so much. The Netflix show is great, and I'm sorry that they had to take it out because that was just terrible. A lot of people say that this movie is like Cars, Planes, or Ratatouille, but honestly, it's just a solo movie. You ever think the Indy 500 talked about that movie? How to Train Your Dragon 2, the next film in Hiccup and Toothless Adventures. It takes place 5 years after the events of the original film. The idea of dragon racing is actually really cool. Getting all 3 of these movies on 4K Blu-ray was a really great choice. Now I'm searching for the shows like Race to the Edge, Riders and Defenders of Berk, you know those two. Then, The Penguins of Madagascar. This is nothing like the show. I remember seeing this in theaters with my dad and it was honestly really good. I love the jokes, the animation, the villain. The backstory of how the penguins came to be is really solid. Watch, I'm gonna put this one on the shelf and then the DVDs are gonna fall. Dragons and Penguins fell, but Turbo just leaned a little bit. The next one I have is kind of for the TV series, and it's Penguins of Madagascar Operation Special Delivery. I would rather put this disc in my Nickelodeon collection, but whatever. And then here's Home. I like Home. Home is good. I remember I was obsessed with this movie and I didn't really know it was Dreamworks up until like 4 years ago. I know that a lot of people didn't like this movie, and I would definitely say that it's one of the more underrated ones. It stars one of the guys from Big Bang Theory, so that's a little something to tell you. Then next is the very first Trolls movie. What can I say? Trolls is decent. Not as bad as people think, but decent. The third one's the best one. I really like the second one. And I honestly wish this franchise didn't get so much hate. Crazy how this came out the same year as Sing, Zootopia, Kung Fu Panda 3, and like Thomas and Friends The Great Race. That year was 2016. And then from 2017 we have The Boss Baby. What can I say? It's The Boss Baby. It exists, alright. It just exists. The sequel and shows are better than the original in my opinion, but still not that good. But next is one of the holiday specials, and it's a really good one. It's Trolls Holiday, one of the 2 specials. I think we're getting a third one this year, and probably about Trolls band together, but we'll just have to wait and see. I like how it came with bonus episodes from Home Adventures with Tip and O and Spirit Riding Free. Great to see Dreamworks shows getting recognition outside of streaming services. The How to Train Your Dragon short film collection comes with Gift of the Night Fury, Dawn of the Dragon Races, The Book of Dragons, and Legend of the Bone Apple Dragon. They were all 10 out of 10 masterpiece short films. Pretty sure my copy is a French-Canadian release, but good to have this bundle rather than all 4 on separate DVDs. This was a very interesting pickup of mine, and I gotta rewatch them again soon. How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. My favorite of the trilogy and the final movie in the series. We started the 2010s with the first movie, and we ended the 2010s with the third movie. The ending to this really made me cry, but it was still great to see Hiccup and Astrid's kids find out about the dragons. How to Train Your Dragon Homecoming is actually the true series finale to the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. Hiccup just puts on a pageant about the events of the first film to show kids that Vikings and dragons were good together. Once again, 10 out of 10, I liked pretty much every installment in the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. Madagascar, the Ultimate Collection, which contains every movie, including Penguins, all 3 short films, 5 episodes from The Penguin Show, 5 episodes from The King Julian Show, and a few music videos. The first film, decent, not so much. Second film, good. Third film, the best. Penguins, great. And the short films are good too. I made a video of this DVD like all the way back in 2019, if you remember. Up next, we have the 2022 savior of Dreamworks, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Way better than the first film, has the animation of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and is a breathtaking movie. It even highlighted at the end of this film that we may get a Shrek 5, which I am looking forward to if it ever happens. This may come to you as a surprise, but I have Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken on Blu-ray. Why do I have this now? I like the film now. I get that most of the humans in this film have terrible designs, except for Chelsea, but whatevs. I should have counted the number of songs they use in this film because there's a heck of a lot of songs. I'm using how all the Gilmans use social media. Dodgeball, Bottled Up, Home, Real Estate. Even if I still didn't like this movie, it's still better than Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate. And then lastly, we have Trolls Band Together. A few months ago, I made a review on this movie, and if you watched that, you pretty much know how I feel about it. The songs in this movie are just pitch perfect. The short film, It Takes Three, is actually really funny. Pretty soon I hope to get Trolls World Tour on 4K since I have the first and third. Well, that's it for now. Stay tuned for the next video, which I will commence Project Megamind.